Hi, and welcome to Roblox, the Bottomless Toy Box. First of all, thanks to the Toy Association and New York Toy Fair for giving me this chance to talk with you. I'm David Kleeman. I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Trends for Dubit. Dubit is a British-based company that's half research and strategy consultancy and half game studio. We have been a game studio for 25 years, actually, and we're in the Guinness Book of World Records as having the youngest board of directors because when the company was founded, it was a group of teens and their scoutmasters who wanted to build a space in the emerging world of virtual worlds for teens specifically. They didn't see anything else there that was right for them. And so they did that. And so for 25 years, we've been an interactive studio, a game studio, an immersive studio. And now we are primarily building for the user-generated content platforms. That's Roblox, Fortnite, Zepeto, and some others. Alongside the studio has emerged a very strong research department because we really feel it's important to know the audiences we're creating for. And that's always been kids. We still do one of the biggest deep dive studies of kids around the world and what they're doing with entertainment, media, and technology, Dubit Trends. But increasingly as well, we've been looking at older audiences, at the tweens, teens, and young adults, because these are the people who are often using these new emerging user-generated content platforms. I probably don't have to tell a lot of toy experts a lot about Roblox, but it probably helps to do kind of a Roblox 101 to make sure that there are no misconceptions about what the platform is before getting into how it is that your industry can really take advantage of Roblox and its fellow platforms. Starting with kind of the 30,000 foot view, we are in the third generation of user-generated content. The first was print, and it was really the millennials who were building these platforms, MySpace, the original Facebook, blogging platforms that allowed them to express themselves, to make the internet not just a receiving vehicle, but a creating vehicle as well. Along in the mid-2000s came YouTube, and suddenly we had another dimension to what we were able to create. And so we were in the second generation of user-generated content, the video generation, and that's really the Gen Z who fired up that platform. The tail end of Gen Z and Gen Alpha are really driving the third generation of user-generated content, and that's the immersive level, where they're building places where online spaces that are in three dimensions that are deep, explorable, discoverable, playable, social, and all these things. So we are in the third generation of user-generated content. To get down specifically to Roblox, a lot of people believe that Roblox is a game. It's not. It is the YouTube of games, in that anyone can make a game, anyone can play a game. So it means that we now have 9 million plus games on this platform. Some of them very big, very popular, billions of views. Some of them really just created by young people because they wanted to express a fandom, or perhaps they just wanted to see if they could create something, wanted to show their pride by putting it up on the platform and in being able to make something. Roblox, the company, doesn't make any of the content. What they do is provide the tools for making the games. They provide the platform, they run the economy of Roblox, but they are not the creators of any of the games on the platform. As I say, they run the economy. Roblox is run on Robux. You don't have to use Robux to play. Anyone can play the games for free. But at the same time, if you want to buy items for your avatar, if you want to get advantages in the game passes, then you buy and spend Robux. And in fact, it's become the main thing that young people ask for their pocket money, for their holiday money. The world of Roblox is absolutely massive. You can see here that there are 7.7 billion accounts worldwide. And I think the numbers that I really want to draw your attention to are 10.7 million concurrent players is the record so far, but that keeps rising almost month by month. When you look at the number of hours spent on the platform, 20.7 billion hours, that is double the engagement that Disney Plus got in the same quarter that was measured. So 20.7 billion hours or 2.3 million person years in one quarter double what Disney Plus got. And it's an aging up audience. It started really as a children's platform or a young people's platform, but now the fastest growing audience is between 15 and 26. And Roblox as a company is really encouraging more complex games, games that are tap into brands that are more loved by the older audience, so that they will continue to, so that young people grow into adulthood continuing to play on the platform. When we look worldwide, when our research department looks worldwide and asks spontaneously, what are your three favorite games right now? Roblox always comes to the top in all of our recent pollings. You can see that somewhere between a quarter, a fifth, and a third of people list it as their number one choice of their favorite game in the moment. And when you look at the numbers that have played the game in the last week, it really ranges from a quarter all the way up to half in different countries. So they are spending a lot of time on the platform, and they are considering it their favorite place to be among the games platforms. Minecraft remains very strong at number 2. Fortnite, depending on the country, comes in anywhere between 4th and 6th, the other of the major UGC platforms. Brand engagement on Roblox is really one of the biggest things that the platform is doing right now, and the numbers around it are quite sizable. If you look at this, we set up an Adidas flagship shop and 20 and 30 pop-up stores around the Roblox worlds, around the Roblox universe for Adidas, and sold over $5 million of branded avatar items. Plus, and this just blows my mind, we had a one-of-a-kind necklace, and someone spent 2 million Robux, or $20,000 in real money, in order to own that one-of-a-kind necklace. Look at some of the other examples that may be closer to your industry. We did a digital physical project with Lunchables that resulted in a 22% sales boost in the packages that had a QR code that gained you advantages in the game when you came back to Roblox. We worked with a UK drugstore on a project where there was a game to play, an obby, or an obstacle course, one of the most popular formats in Roblox. And on completing the obby, you could get a coupon that you could take to the physical store and turn in for a body wash. 15,000 of those vouchers were redeemed in the UK. And then finally, we've built with a company called Dettol, a game that is really designed to encourage understanding of hand washing and hygiene. And you can see that we reached 5.7 million children in 100 plus countries, and that in post-testing, their knowledge of hygiene went up. Why are these platforms? Why is Roblox and its ilk so popular with this generation? It is really the everything platform for them. They have such broad uses for it. They can play, of course, and there are games on it, but Roblox often refers to what's on there as experiences because it doesn't have to have a goal or an end. A lot of them are just places where you can go and build or socialize or explore. A lot of the games are not competitive, but collaborative, and they are really becoming a place where you explore your fandoms. All media for Gen Z and Gen Alpha are social media. If a medium is not social, they'll find a way to make it so. During the pandemic, when they were playing on game platforms that didn't allow them to communicate with each other, they opened up Discord. Discord was never meant for kids, but they saw it as something that they needed in order to play the way they wanted to play. They will always look for the element of social in everything that they do. And then they're also the creator generation. They want permission from you, the IP owners, the toy owners, the game owners, to create around their favorite things, to do fan fiction, to do fan art, to create games, to create videos. Now, we've always done that. I'm old enough that I wore the Davy Crockett coonskin cap way back when. But now the difference is when a young person creates something and puts it up on Roblox, puts it up on YouTube, on TikTok, it can go global instantly, and it can look almost identical to your original IP. And some companies that have opened themselves up to this idea have found that fan ideas are so strong that they actually can influence the overall canon of the IP or the toy, that it gets written into the core story because the fans have expressed such strong desire for it. These aren't going anywhere. These UGC platforms are not going to disappear. In part because of what I told you, they are the everything platform for this generation. In part because of the flywheel that keeps it growing. That the more people that come and play these games, the more creators are attracted. Because people spend money in the games, they spend time in the experiences, and so new creators think this is a good place for me to be. New brands think this is a good place for me to be. And the more experiences on the platform, the more people who come to play it. And the more people who come to play it, the more creators, and so on, and so on, and so on. Also, they are going to keep growing because niche is now. Niche is what is hot at the moment. Young people want to engage with their favorite things. They have very specific fandoms, they have very specific communities, and they want places where they can be part of that, where they can really find the other people that share that with them. You may find on these platforms that a smaller, really highly engaged audience can be more valuable to you than a larger audience somewhere else where the content really just washes over them, where there's no real active engagement or give and take between you and your fans. AI obviously is going to turbocharge the creator engines for this. They're going to make it possible for even younger and more people and even younger people to build their own games and experiences. It's important to keep in mind that some things never change. This is one of my favorite slides to include in presentations, in part because it's so seldom that you would see Jean Piaget, the developmental psychologist, and Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, in the same slide. But they really are both saying the same thing, that child development doesn't change, human development doesn't change, only the context does. And when Bezos talks about it, he says, no one ever asks me what's not going to change. And I think that's more important than their usual question of what is going to change. Roblox is built just as your toys, games, and other products are built on classic play patterns. If young people don't understand the play pattern, if it doesn't feel natural to them, they're going to leave right away. They're going to abandon it. If you look at the classic play patterns of Roblox, they'll be very familiar to you. Dress up. One of the top games on Roblox right now is Dress to Impress. Further, I'll talk later about the amount that young people spend and how important it is to them to dress their avatars to match their personas, and how much time and attention they spend on that. So dress up is huge. Creativity play. This happens to be a game where they're painting, but there are lots of games on the platform where the goal is really, I shouldn't say games, there are experiences where the goal is really just to create. They'll give you a palette, they'll give you the tools, and you build what you want to build. Imaginative role play. Welcome to Brookhaven is a experience where you go in and you take on different tasks or different jobs. So you can work in a restaurant, you can do jobs like that. So it's not quite open-ended creative play. It's really much more focused on role-playing different jobs. Construction play, one of the biggest areas of your world. There are countless construction games through this. This happens to be one where what they're showing in this slide here is you can build anything from the simplest possible structure to really complex structures. It's almost like the Minecraft of Roblox. Social play. This is just a hangout area. Meep City is really just a place where you can meet up with people, bring your friends into the game, you can hang out, there are games to play inside the experience, so there is some competitive or collaborative play, but really it's just a place to meet and socialize. And then competition and challenge. I mentioned obbies before as working your way through an obstacle course. This example from Avatar is fascinating because what you're doing is learning how to airbend. And so it's really taking the lean back experience of watching the program and bringing it to the lean forward experience of learning how to do the things that you've watched on the program. So how can you open the Roblox toy box? I want to give you some examples of the different ways that we as a studio have seen companies successfully get into this space of Roblox or at times Zepeto and other platforms that really fit the goals that they're seeking. So let's talk a little bit about goals. You can dip a toe in or you can dive in completely into this, and it really depends on what it is that you want to do. It's not necessary to build an entire world. If you're a massive company, then that may be what you want to do. If you have a number of different IPs, you may want to build a world where people can explore all of them in play. But there are a lot of ways, depending on your goals, to do that without having to spend so much money or commit to ongoing updates. What's your goal? Are you trying to introduce something new? So is this a limited moment in time where you really want to bring people's attention to something that's coming out? Are you just trying to broaden awareness of the things that you already have out there? Do your fans want to be able to try before they buy? Since the experience of going to the toy store may be a little less frequent now, there are ways that you can give fans a chance to essentially play in virtual space with your product to see if it fits their favorite play patterns. Are you trying to extend the play of something that you offer in real life in physical space, but that you want to be able to do something that you couldn't do with that physical toy? In the virtual world, there are far fewer limits on physics, on the kinds of things that you can do with a product. Or are you a company that's got a pretty deep fandom already and you really want to give a new experience to your biggest fans and give them something to keep them engaged with your brand? Are you looking to do something long term? Are you willing to keep updating something? Do you want something that's going to stay there in their lives, or is this really more campaign based? You want something for a couple weeks and then the need for it will lessen. And the biggest one is, what is your budget? And I'm not really going to address budget very directly here. That's a place where I would refer you to our developers or other companies' developers because it so much depends on exactly what it is that you want to do that it's really hard. But what I will do in the following slides is look at across three dimensions. Does it tend toward the more expensive, more do you have more control over your own spaces? How strong is the engagement with your audience? And give you just kind of sliders that'll help you understand for every different type of engagement what it is that you might be looking at. So the biggest one obviously is a bespoke world. It's the most cost because you really have to build an entire world that is keyed to your brand's, to all the dimensions of your brand. And after that, you have to maintain it. If you want people to keep coming back and playing, you really need to add new things as they go. The good news is that you can add those new things based on data. You'll understand a lot about your audience by how they play across your world. So that there are upsides and downsides to that. You have all the control, basically, when you create a bespoke world. You can decide how big you want it. You can decide what brands across your company to put into it. You can decide how you want them to play with it. And so engagement can be quite deep. People will spend a lot of time in a world that is diverse in its play patterns, diverse in its content, that gives you a lot to explore, that refreshes regularly. So engagement can be quite high in this. We often work with companies to do popular game takeovers. We work with over 100 games or experiences within Roblox that are open to having a brand come in and for 2 weeks, a month, basically reskin their game to that brand. The cost is much lower. You don't have to build the world. They've built it for you already. The control is less, though, as well, because they still own the game. And if they decide that they want to do things a certain way, then it's a negotiation with them if that's really going to work out. But the engagement can be quite good. You can see here a toy, the Gujitsu stretch strikers that got dropped into a game, and that's the essential model. Is you look for a game that has the play pattern that matches your toy or game's play pattern, and then work with them to reskin it. I can tell you we had a fascinating experience with shoe brand that wanted to get a back to school campaign going. Kickers was a well-known brand but had faded a bit in time, and so they really wanted to revive the brand, and we put them into Fashion Famous, which is a game that has essentially you choose your clothes, you dress your avatar, and then there are fashion shows every 6 minutes and you vote on who did it best. In just a couple weeks, 25 million Kickers items were chosen to be worn on the runway. Product integration is a little bit similar to a game takeover. It's less complete. So instead of taking over the entire game, you're really just finding spaces within the game to put your product into it. You can see the example here is that we worked with Forever 21 just after the Barbie movie came out to put little pop-up shops into different games. Where you could buy Barbie merchandise for your avatar. The cost, again, is much less than building a bespoke world, depending on how many games you want to go into, how many shops, what the duration is, the costs can vary. Control, again, you're asking to put your content into other people's games, but if you build a pop-up shop, you do have control over what's in that shop. Engagement, you're not asking them to spend a lot of time there. You're really asking them to come in, choose something, dress their avatar, maybe you're giving it away, maybe you're selling it to them, and then go on and carry your brand across all their play in that game and others. Digital physical twins, you can see the example here of Nerf, where the same Nerf gun that you can buy in real life is available to play with in their immersive game. The cost can be high, in part because you have to have the physical product, and you know all about that. The control, again, is quite high because you are putting your specific product into a specific use case, and the engagement can be quite deep. If you are building or working with a very popular game where your toy, your game, your product fits in very well with it, then there's going to be a lot of play with it across the space of that platform. Merchandise. I talked briefly about pop-up stores. Merchandise is proving to be one of the biggest things on Roblox right now. You can see down at the bottom right, 2 billion avatar items were sold or given away in 2023. Usually if you buy something in one game, or if you're given something in one game, you can wear it across the platform. So if you're looking to get exposure for your brand, you can, this is a great way to do it at a low cost for development. The cost of developing new UGC items can be very, very low. And that's why I say that the control is sort of middling. You have to get it out there, but at the same time, you control what it is that you create. And it can be very fanciful. You see here on the right the Sonic gear that you can buy. And I mentioned before the Adidas necklace that we sold. I show it here. One thing to be aware of that I think is going to be very big is in early 2025, games will be able to connect directly with Shopify, so that you could have a in real life shop in order to offer the gear that you're offering in virtual worlds to be worn in real life. And there is a lot of evidence that young people base their in real life fashion on what they do with their avatar in virtual space. So it's a very strong possibility, and we're really looking forward to that launching. I've talked a lot about fandom and just the opportunity to engage your fans, to give them a space to collaborate with others, to socialize with others, to build. Inviting them to create around your brand is one of the best ways to show trust in your fans. And in fact, blocking them from creating. And there have been cases where people have asked for takedowns of unofficial games, can be a real blow to fans' trust of your IP. This is a generation that feels like nothing about us without us, and that really wants to have a dialogue with the people who are making the things that they love best and feel that they're being listened to. You don't always have to do what they ask you to do, but the idea that you're listening, that the sense among them that you are listening to them is very powerful to them. The cost of giving tools to your fans to create something or giving opportunities to your fans, it can be quite low. It can be much bigger depending on what you want to do. But the control, again, is yours. You are inviting your fans to create. You are controlling the conditions under which they create. They're going to do it even if you don't give them the opportunity, so you may as well have some control over it. And the engagement can be quite powerful depending on what it is that you're offering up. This one is still in testing, but it fascinates me probably most of anything yet. People have long asked, so are we going to watch television or are we going to watch movies in these spaces? And Bakugan from Spin Master has really done an interesting experiment around that, that when you go into their Bakugan world, you can battle, you can shop and buy merchandise, but it also offers you the opportunity to watch an episode. And you pick the episode and you see across the Roblox world a screen. You can see it here. And your episode is playing on the screen. And when you get there, there are lots of other avatars watching the screen. And they're running around and they're dancing and they're watching. And you realize after a while they're not watching the same episode that you're watching. Or if they are, they're not watching at the same point. They came in at a different moment. Now, you can coordinate with your friends and all come in at the same time and all choose the same episode. And there is a newly Roblox Party, which allows you to do that more formally, to really have to enter as one and play together in a game or experience. But in this case, it's creating a sense of community as you watch the episode that doesn't necessarily exist, but it makes you feel like you're not watching alone. That's it for me. I would be more than happy to speak with anyone who'd like to follow up, to answer any questions. My email is here at the bottom of the thank you slide. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn, so please connect with me and come ask questions, and thank you for your time.